Okay, so hello everyone in Dr. Hayes' class. And Dr. Hayes, one of your mics is picking up something. So if you want to mute your mic, if you can do that. Otherwise, it's not outrageous. But I'm so happy to be with you today. And my name is Marianne Irwin. I am an Instruction and Liaison Services librarian here at the home campus in St. Louis. My areas of subject librarianship are business and management. I'm also the distance learning librarian, which means that I help the library, particularly for instruction, to make sure that we're providing instruction for our faculty and students who will never come within 20 feet of the library. So that's what this webinar is allowing us to do today. Our agenda is basically how the library can help you to write your paper on a course topic of your choice. So we're going to have a short presentation plus a chance to ask questions. There shouldn't be more than an hour today, hopefully. We'll talk about scholarly peer-reviewed journals and why you might want to use those in your research, not the least of which is that Dr. Hayes might require you to use those. But we'll contrast those with trade and magazine articles. So we'll talk about that just a little bit. We'll also look at how to form a research question. And I have one prepared, so we're going to use that as an example, but to give you some ideas about then how you take that research question, find a database that will have your scholarly articles on your topic, and there are several ways to do that, and find a database that has articles and how to plug it in and use that database efficiently and effectively. And we'll end with, if you're having trouble, how will you get help? And also a couple of words about APA citation and writing help. So the first concept that we want to talk about are types of periodicals. So there are three major types of periodicals. There are journals, there are trade publications, and then there are popular or business magazines and newspapers. So we put those popular magazines and newspapers together in the same category. But by and large, what you're going to be seeing is that the journals are where research on a topic is reported, and also then research and also theories. So if there's any work that's not experimental research, but experts in the field looking at a topic and thinking about the theories that underlie that particular topic, those are going to be reported more often than not in journals. On the other side of the equation, and we're kind of lumping them all together, are trade publications, magazines, and newspapers. So trade publications are publications that are written by people in the field that are practicing in the field, and they're often applied. So they may be a management function like project management, as in Project Manager Today is a magazine, or they may be focused on a particular industry like Aviation Week and space technology. So providing that type of information so that you can see how this research and these theories are applied within your field. Magazines, things like Bloomberg Business Week or Harvard Business Review. So there's business magazines, and then of course there's Time and Newsweek. There's popular news magazines and magazines probably on fields of interest, but those are generally written at a lower academic level, and they're for the general population. So the research question that we're going to use today, and by the way, if you have any questions, so as we go along, please go ahead and ask Dr. Hayes to unmute the mic and go ahead and ask them, but at some point I will probably have to take a breath and I'll stop and ask if there's any questions. But so the research question that we're going to look at today is, does using the critical path method, called CPM, improve scheduling in a manufacturing environment? So probably that's not really how you would form your research question. More often than not, if you're working, you might want to, because you get to choose your topic, you might want to, within the context of the course, think about something that is of import to you or something that you're interested in learning more about. So it may be that you're in a manufacturing environment, you work for a company that has manufacturing plants across the U.S. or across the globe, and you're looking for a better way to schedule your projects, or you're just kind of thinking about projects that have failed in the past, and you're like, you think maybe that there's got to be a better way. So think that through and see if you can put it in a little more academic language, and think about the question on a little broader scale than your own perspective. I mean, keep your perspective in it, but kind of think about, okay, what are the major words or phrases that I would expect to find if I'm doing a search for this type of to answer my research, your research question. And then think about your research question and choose the major concepts or words or phrases. So I would suggest that in this particular question, we would probably be looking at the critical path method, scheduling, and manufacturing. The other words are kind of red herrings, and so we want to pick out our key concepts, and we're going to look at how to, next, we're going to look at how to select a database and then insert those key concepts into the database search form. So we're going to go live now. So I'm going to share my desktop. And now you should be seeing the library homepage. So Dr. Hayes, if that's not true, please let me know. Unmute your mic and let me know. Oops. Dr. Hayes, are you still there? Okay.
Yes, I was having, you took away my screen, I couldn't unmute my mic.
Oh, okay.
No, I have it.
Okay. I'm going to share desktop and monitor one.
I'll just leave the microphone on.
Yeah, leave it on. And then do you see at the top where it says, if you just go to the top of your screen, you may be able to pull down this little menu. See how I'm doing that? I don't know for sure if that'll work or not. But you might be able to see it that way. Okay, so we'll go ahead. Now, okay, so this is the library homepage at library.webster.edu. You can access the library from any Webster University page There's Webster University down here, so I'm going kind of backwards. So from Webster University, if you scroll all the way down, helpful links on the lower right-hand side of the footer has a link to the library. You might see that library link within your course page, your Connections, our World Classroom course page as well. So we're going to look at two ways to access databases. And that the first one is this article/databases page here. And this is a page on the library website. So if you click on article/databases, if you know the database, the name of the database that you want, use the pull-down menu to choose it. And those are in alphabetical order. The library has over 160 databases that we have subscriptions to for your use. So there's a lot of them. So what we did to make them a little more accessible was to arrange them by broad category. So under Business and Technology, for the Walker School of Business and Technology, you see links to Business and Finance, Computer Science and Mathematics, and Management and Human Resources. So those are the three departments within the School of Business. So if you click on Business and Finance, then you will see a list of the databases here under the title. You will see a list of databases by format. So there's databases if you want to find articles on a topic. There are databases if you wanted to find company directories. So we have those kinds of databases. We have databases for financials and investing, ebooks, industry data, etc. So those kinds of, we hope, those kinds of mediated lists will help you to more easily choose a database that's going to have information on your topic or the type of information that you need. So we're going to go back to our home page, back there, and another way to access databases is our research guides. And I'm going to click on that in a minute. But as we go by, under Research Help on the menu near the lower left, under Research Help, I just want to point out this Ask a Librarian. So this is how you're going to get help, and we'll talk about other ways to access that link as well. But if you need help, and we'll talk more about Ask a Librarian in a minute as well. So if you need help, then what you will do is go ahead and you can use that link as well as other links. Also, while we're going by, I wanted to just point out the citation guides. So this is how you can get additional information on APA style of citation and also writing help. So we'll take a quick look at those at the end. So right now we're going to click on Research Guides. And from the Research Guides page, and this is another piece of software that allows us to add a little more content a little more easily than coding an HTML page, though we still do that. So in the middle, we have our guides by academic department. So you could, again, to hopefully give you a little more information, a little more direction for selecting databases and finding help using those. So I'm going to click on Business Administration, and here is the guide for Business Administration from the Research Guide. So you notice across the top that it has tabs. So we're on the Home, and then we have articles, books and ebooks, company directories and financials, industry data. We have some links to training and tutorials, and we have some links to citing and writing. But notice on most of these pages, as we go by, on the right-hand, generally on the right-hand menu, you can see, again, links to our Ask a Librarian service, and you can see a link to my contact information because I'm the Business and Management Librarian. So we'll talk, as I said, more about that in a minute. We're going to, because you need articles on your topic, we're going to click on the Articles tab, and notice here that we have some periodical types, and these are the descriptions. So if you need just an overview of what the difference is between those different types of journals, trade publications, and magazines and newspapers, we've provided that as well. Our types of publications are again, here's another schematic showing you those types of publications. All right, so we're going to click on Business Source Complete, even though we have two business article databases. We have Business Source Complete, and it's from EBSCO, and it is actually our largest business article database. Covers over 25,000 periodicals, and many of them to the first volume that was published. For example, Harvard Business Review, which is a business magazine actually, according to the Business Source Complete, we have the Volume 1, Issue 1 from 1922 from Harvard Business Review. Also, Business Source Complete has an emphasis, places a greater emphasis on the journal literature. Not that there aren't some journals, there are a lot of journals in ABIN form, but Business Source Complete just has just a little larger collection. So that's what we're going to look at today to start our searches. So the first time you go into any of our databases or e-resources, like an e-book on a particular browser, it's going to ask you to authenticate. So it's going to ask for your last name and your Webster 7-digit ID number. And then you will log in, or actually what you're doing is authenticating into the databases. Okay, so most of our databases will open to the advanced search form, because our advanced search form will open with generally at least 3 boxes, and they'll lead you through the search. So remember, our search was, does using the critical path method improve scheduling in a manufacturing environment? So it doesn't matter in which order we put these in, but I'm going to do critical path method, and notice that it's suggesting some words or phrases, and these are not suggested by the database. These are just auto-completing from other words or phrases that people who are searching the database have typed in. So we could say critical path method, and that acronym is CPM, and a lot of times they'll use the acronym, and they may or may not use critical path method. So we can type OR in the same search box, and then we can type in CPM. And so what we're doing there is it could either be the phrase critical path method or the acronym CPM. So then we want to go ahead and let me just show you as we go by. I'm going to click on search, and we have 2,310 articles that have our word or phrase in it, one or the other, or sometimes both. Okay, so of course what we're going to want to do is to add our other concepts. So we can type in manufacturing is one of our concepts, and also scheduling. Okay, so we could type scheduling, or notice that we have other people have typed schedule, they have typed scheduling, and they've typed schedules. So if we wanted to search for all of those at the same time, simultaneously, what we can do is to add the asterisk immediately after the L, and that looks for any variant word endings. So now we've added those with an and, so not only must it have critical path method or CPM, it must also, in the article record, have the word manufacturing and the word scheduling. So we're going to click on search, and notice now that we have 74 items. So it's taken out over 1,000, almost 2,000. It's taken out almost 2,000 of our articles because we're now trying to focus on what it is that we are our narrower topic that we're interested in, because we're certainly not interested in everything about CPM. And there's a hint. If you reach out to the library to help, please do tell us. Please try to be as specific as possible about what you want. That's why it's a good idea to think about your search and what it is that you're interested in, and how you would like to narrow that search, so that we can help you to get where you need to go more efficiently. So we have 74 items, and when you do a search, these are, by the way, returned in relevance order. And another reason I like Business Source Complete is it has a pretty good relevance algorithm. So if our words appear in the title of the article or the subjects, it moves those higher on the list. It also will move up to the top of the list academic journals. Okay. So it'll move those up onto to the top of your list. If you kind of scroll down, you can see we have these limits. So we can see this scholarly peer-reviewed journal limit, and we see the date slider. So notice that the first article that it's found on that have all three of our key concepts in it was from 1963. Now, that's probably older than what you want to look at. So we'll see in a minute how we'll go ahead and we'll apply a date limit for more recent articles. But when you're first starting your search, go ahead and leave that date on, because one of the things that we want to do is we want to see what words and phrases the database uses to describe what we're looking for. And then we can use those to make our searches better sometimes. Okay. Also on this menu, the Limit To menu on the left, you'll see the source types. So we have 68 academic journals. There are 4 trade publications and 2 magazines. So if you click on that, if you click trade publications, then you can see just those articles that are from the trade publications. Remember, these are more applied, how people are using the CPM method, in actual use within an industry in manufacturing, because we can see that here in our subjects. Here's critical path, but notice that they're calling it critical path analysis. And then this is that we have manufacturing in our subject heading, in our subjects here as well. Okay. And notice also that we have production scheduling, and there's our word scheduling. Okay. But you might use a few, if you get some, you might use a few trade publications or magazines to get some real-world examples of why your topic is important to other people, is important to the industry, or to others besides just you. So when you're writing a paper, sometimes you can use a few of those, though you probably want to focus for university-level research on journals, but you might use a few of those to establish what's going on in an industry and establish the importance of your topic, and maybe the depth or breadth of your topic as well. Okay, so we're going to turn off trade publications and go back. And we're going to scroll down a little bit more and notice that we have academic journals at the top here. And the same as we saw in the trade publications, we're seeing critical path analysis instead of CPM. So CPM is up here as well in the title. And then, so we're seeing our words often. We're seeing the word scheduling and we're seeing manufacturing here. So we're seeing those within the subjects. So if you scroll down, for those 74 items, here under the subject thesaurus terms, it will show you of the 74 items, the top subject headings that they're using. So we have production scheduling, there are 47. We have critical path analysis is 44. We have production planning is 37. Okay, so see how that works, and project management is 22. So if you have a large number and you want to focus on, you want to change your focus, you can also click on that checkbox. So, and that, we're going to click on project management, and that actually added that to our search. So here's our 22 articles that have our keywords, our 3 keywords or concepts in them, but they also have project management as a subject term. So if you get a really large search, sometimes that can help you to focus more realistically. And when I say a really large, I'm talking, you know, over 500 or 600. But so we're going to turn this off. Okay, so we're going to turn off, and we're going to look at what would we do with those words once we found how the database uses them. So critical path analysis rather than critical path method. So we'll just take out method, okay, and we had 74 before. So just taking out the method raises our search to 118 because we're not making it look for method, we're letting it use the subject heading critical path analysis. Okay. Now, we saw production several times. So manufacturing and production are relatively synonymous terms. So we might want to add that with an or between them and go ahead and choose production or type it in. All right. So now we've added another or, so we are going to get 322 items, because just if you think about it, you get more with or because it could be either of those. So now we have 322 items. So now might be the time that we want to go ahead and limit our search to by date, because those articles from 1963 are not going to be very helpful for us, probably. Okay. So we're going to just grab this date slider and slide it up, and I'm going to do about 10 years. So I'm going to do 2007, which is actually more than 10 years. But notice now that when I've limit it to 2007 to 2017, now I have only 137 articles, of which 123 are academic journals. If you turn on that academic journal, you can click it here and you can see those 123. But if you turn on in your search the scholarly peer-reviewed journals, limit above the date slider, that will hold that limit through the rest of your searches. Okay, so if you turn it on there, you'll see it on the menu, so you can always go back and turn it off. But that will allow you to go, so for your searches forward, you're just going to see scholarly peer-reviewed journal articles. Okay. Now, so now we have 123, and I'm sorry, I should have paused back when we had our large 320 or even our 74. And so if I wanted to go back and look at those, look at this little search history under the third search box. If you click that search history, it will show you all the searches that you've done during this session. And here's a little word of caution. These searches will be listed here only as long as you have this browser window open. So if you walk away from your computer and you leave it running, and it's generally for most of our databases time out after about 20 minutes. So if you walk away from your computer and it times out, you will no longer have your searches. So just be aware of that. Okay, so you can go back and see a previous search that you've done. So for instance, I'm going to pop back over, since I should have done this, for our 323 items here. I'm sorry, nope, I'm going to go back. Sorry, and it stays open. I'm going to go back and look at these 74. I'm going to review those. Because when I was doing this search, I was kind of, and whenever you do a search, you can use it to start thinking about what words and subject headings and actually keywords that the database uses. But look at your searches, and are they helping you to get where you want to go? And when I was looking at these, the titles, just kind of scanning through the titles, they're just not, you know, very few of them just reached out to me and said, hey, you know, this looks like a really good article. So that's why I said, okay, I'm going to try to make this a little bit better, and I'm going to try to make this a little bit broader. Though some of these look good, this critical path scheduling under resource calendar constraints. So when we talk about scheduling, one of the things that you have to worry about is you're having what you need, the resources you need to create that, to do that step of the critical path. So you might find some, but do think about making it more broad. Okay, so I'm going to close, I'm going to pop back out to our 123. And when I look at these, they look a little bit better to me, at least to me, but really it depends on what you know, where are you wanting to go, and are you seeing the kinds of things that you want to find? Okay, so so that's really the magic there, is it taking you where you want to go? And if you want to clear that search history out of your way, just click on search history and it'll close it up. But you can always go back to it. All right. So once you've kind of gotten a good number of results, and you've thought about, do you want to limit to scholarly peer-reviewed, and do you want to limit by date, then start looking at your items. So I'm going to click on the title, and that's going to show us the record for this particular article, and it's a broader article. Is CPM scheduling a problem? Have we forgotten the process? So it has, we can see in our subject terms, critical path analysis. As a subject term, we see CPM in the title. We see production scheduling. All right, so we might start kind of looking at these as well, things that look like they would be good, and look to see if there's some other item or word or phrase that we might want to add. So for instance, if you start seeing business planning, so scheduling and planning might be synonymous or vaguely synonymous terms. So you might want to say schedule, asterisk, or planning to kind of expand that search. But this is the record, so you can see who wrote it, The source is the title of the periodical in which it appears. It's 14 pages. You can see the abstract, so that's a summary of the article. So you can read that, and that will sometimes help you to decide if you want to track down the full text. All right? So we got a couple of things that are available to you. This one does not have the full text. So if you click on Check Article Linker, Article Linker is another piece of software, and what it does is it goes into our other databases and the library's print collection, and it will go and check to see if we have that particular item in another database or in another location. So in this case we don't, but we have a big blue requested here. So if you've read the abstract and this article is going to practically write your paper and you've got a couple of days to wait, we usually suggest you wait, you give us 3 to 5 business days. But I will tell you, many times articles come so much more quickly because this process is highly automated, both the requesting and the delivery. But you can click on Requested here, and then you will create what's called, the first time, you create what's called an ILLIAD account, ILLIAD, for Interlibrary Loan Aid, sort of. And then you just request it, and it will create a request that goes to our interlibrary loan department. They will get the article from another library and then email you in whatever email address. It does not have to be your Webster email address, but they will email you in whatever address you put into your ILLIAD account as your contact email and let you know that the article is available for you to read because we've gotten it from another library. Now, actually, ILLIAD dynamically produces those emails once it's in the system. And you might know that what happens to dynamically produced emails is that they go into junk or spam mail. So be aware that that's where it may go. So keep an eye on that.
Mary Ann, may I ask you a question?
Certainly.
Yes, ma'am. When the article arrives, is there a link that the student goes to, or is the article mailed? What happens from there?
Oh, good question. So what happens is when the article arrives, it is actually uploaded to your ILLIAD account. So when you get that email that says that tells you that you have an article, it has directions, and it actually has a link into your ILLIAD account. And so you click on that link. You may have to put in you may have to authenticate and put in your ID number. Nope, should be in there. But the article will be, then you'll go to the ILLIAD place on the cloud. So, but please don't use that as storage. And then you'll see the PDF. You'll see a list of received items if you look at the left-hand menu, and then when you click on that, you can see everything that you've requested and what's been received. Now, but don't use that as storage. Those will only stay there for about 30 days, or if you look at them, I think it's about 5 or 6 times. So once you see that, go ahead, and it's a PDF, go ahead and download the PDF and store that somewhere, on your computer where you can get to it. But it will deliver, basically, it'll deliver it into your ILLIAD account, and you can access that wherever you have access to the internet. So you can go in and access it that way. Is that what you wanted to know? Dr. Hayes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to minimize this so I can see this just a little better. I'm going to close that, and I'm back to my
think we lost your audio. Okay. All right, we're back.
I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, here. Oh my. Okay, I really need to show you this. Okay. Let me see what else. Okay. I'm trying to decide if I need to. All right, let me go back. I do that more than I would like. Okay, so I'm going to pop just back into article/databases. I'm just going to remind you, and so we'll use this as a teaching opportunity. So I'm going to go back into Business Source Complete and log in. And notice, that now I've lost my search. Okay, so I'm going to type critical path or CPM, and remember I said it doesn't matter, schedule. In what order I search these, or type these into my search form. And there's manufacturing or production. All right, so there. And by the way, on the way by, if you would need another row, you can just click on the little plus, and it'll add another row to your search. Click on search, and here we back are to our 322. We'll go ahead and do 2007, and limit it back to scholarly peer-reviewed journals. And here we are. Okay, so we're back here. All right, so now, notice under the records, it'll tell you really quickly whether the full text is available. So we saw the record for that first one is CPM scheduling a problem. And so here's a link to Article Linker again. The second one has the full text. So we can go in and look at the record and then decide if we want to see the full text. Notice over here on the limit to, we also have this little box, limit to full text. And I just want to point that out because unless you need an article, in classes in 15 minutes, don't use that full text, because when you do that, if you click on that, it will not show you this first article because the full text is not available from Business Source Complete. But if we go down, we've got a lot of full text here, but when I was preparing, I went down to number 16, and here's an article called PERT 21, Fitting PERT CPM for Use in the 21st Century. So that looks like a really good article to me. So then if we click on Check Article Linker here, and I'll try not to close this window again, but if we click on Check Article Linker here, notice that it pops out and it goes into another database. And here is the article. It's in a database it's a Science Direct database, and we can download the PDF right from here. So if you if you use that little checkbox for full text, you have then negated that option of finding what could be a really good article for you. So whether the full text, whether an article is full text in Business Source Complete or any of our databases is really just it's an economic decision made between the publisher of the journal or the periodical and Business Source Complete. Generally, the Business Source Complete pays a little bit more if they are allowed to carry the full text. So it says absolutely nothing about if it's full text or not, about the quality of the article. It only says that Business Source Complete has paid a little bit more for access to that to the full text. Okay. So you're looking for the best articles, unless there's an efficient reason, like you need an article in 15 minutes or before class, then it's efficient then to look for something that's full text just on the database. Okay. So again, let me also point out, when you notice you have your little blue folders here. So what you can do is you can go through and you can add records to a folder. And notice it popped up with folder has items. And we didn't look at it before, but if you look above on the menu bar at the very top, the blue menu bar, and on to the right, it says it opened the folder now, and it shows that you've put something in a folder. However, if I would close this window again, not only would I lose my search and my search history, but I would lose those things that I put in a folder. So most of our databases have a way that you can go in and create your own little place on the vendor's cloud, or the producer of the database on their cloud. And generally you want to look for something that says sign in. So if I would click on sign in here, and then I would have to create my EBSCO host, because EBSCO host is the vendor for Business Source Complete. I would have to create my EBSCO host account. But then when I sign in, I can save items in my folder. I can create lists of folders, and I can have multiple folders and put things in those folders. And I can also save my searches. So you might think about doing that to just kind of help you keep track of research that you've done and research that you might want to go back to. So you might want to use that sign in and create an account to do that. But we can go ahead and add items to a folder, and I'm going to show you what we would do with those. I'm just picking some so that we have a folder. Also, notice over here on the right-hand menu, now our folder is open, notice that we have a chat box. That is one way that you can contact our Ask a Librarian or our Research Services desk. And that service is available 24/7. When the library is closed, it is staffed by some consortium librarians, but they are familiar with our databases and would be able to help you 24/7. So you can chat right from within this service. And notice that you can, one of the things I want to point out to you is that when you're going to chat, make sure you pop out the window, because you don't want that chat box on the EBSCO host search, because if you're chatting with a librarian and they suggest that you do a different search, then that will close for you that chat box window. But anyway, so let me tell you a couple more things. Okay, so when you're looking at a particular item that you like, we looked at this record, you have tools also on the right-hand menu. So you could add, now I've put this one in, but I could remove it from the folder if I decided I didn't want it. So I might do that. I can print or email this particular record to myself. I could save it. But what I particularly wanted to note is this Cite button. And what Cite does is it will show you the citation format for this article in the major citation formats. So AMA, by the way, is American Medical Association, not American Management Association, unfortunately. But what most of the faculty in the business school, that they generally will request students use the APA, or the American Psychological Association citation format. So right here is this citation. Now, up above that, there's a note, and it says that you have to make sure that the citation is correct. So basically what it's pretty good about doing is it will put them in the right order. But the thing the elements of the citation, but the thing it's not very good about doing is it tends to have a problem with capitalization. So in this case, in APA citation format, the title of the article it should be in sentence case. So the first letter of the first word in the title and subtitle and any proper nouns should be capitalized, but the rest of it should be in lowercase. The title of the journal, however, all significant words should be capitalized. So it will get you started, but you still do have to clean it up. And that is the case for most of our databases. We have another business database named ABI Inform, and it has these same tools. You can put things in a folder, and you may also use their cite feature, but you really have to check that. Okay.
Marianne, I'm sorry to interrupt, but also
okay.
The volume and issue number should be stated after the
okay.
The journal
good.
name.
Thank you. Good eye. The volume and issue number, you notice, and that's another thing I didn't think about. But notice that this particular record does not have the volume and issue number. So it can't put it in there. So that's another thing that you would have to go back and fix. But notice this one has the volume and issue number. All right? So if you click on that one and you cite it in APA, there is your volume number and there's your issue number. So thank you. Good eye. So you do have to know what the elements of a good citation are. And I'm going to show you kind of how you can find, if you're not familiar with it, I'm going to show you how you can find some cheat sheets for that type of information. Okay, so we've got our folder, and I just also want to point this out. So here's our folder, and I just have 3 things in it, but I wanted to point this out. So you can select all of those, and then you have some tools for your folder, okay? So if you've got the full text, you're going to want to go ahead and pull that up and save it separately. But if you want to save the citations, I'm going to go ahead and click on print because I can then print this to the screen and show you what it will look like. So you can do your citation format, or you can do all the fields. If you do standard field format, you can do the detailed citation and abstract. So if you're doing a lot of research and you're wanting to discover more keywords or subject headings, you might want to save them or save the records in that format. But we're going to do APA, and I'm going to just print this to the screen, and I want to show you what it will kind of look like. I'm going to cancel that print. What it'll kind of look like in when you send it to you via an email. So you could do that as well. But you'll get an email that looks something like this. So here are your citations that you can copy out. Notice they're not in the correct order because they should be in alphabetical order by the first thing listed, often the author, the first field. But you'll get them, and you could copy them out and paste them into a Word document, and then you do have to fix them. But what you'll also get is a permalink back to the record. So if you email the citations to yourself, let's say you're at work and you don't want to be printing out or saving, and you just want to go ahead and just, you've got just a little bit of time at lunch, and so you're working on it. You just want to email the citations to yourself. Then when you come back, you can click on the permalink and it'll take you back to the record in Business Source Complete, and then you can download the full text, etc. So I'm going to move out of there.
May I make a request in the few minutes that we do have?
Yes.
Could you briefly go over the APA links and then how to make an appointment? Because I think you've done a great job in reviewing the databases, and I think the students have a good grasp of that.
Great. All right.
So,
And
thank you,
I am done with that, and thank you so much for watching my time. So I stopped sharing my screen, and so let me pop forward.
You have to be politically correct.
Okay.
He is there on Saturday or a day off.
Okay. So I'm going to go all the way. So here's in case we lost, in case we didn't have a connection, I wanted to point out, remember I showed you on, I put these on a PowerPoint, but remember I showed you on the main library page under Research Help, how you can link to citations, okay. So I also wanted to just give you a couple more things about asking for help as well. So on the research guide and from the home page, if you click on Ask a Librarian, you can get to our help screens and from the research guide. So that's what I'm pointing out here, this Help Ask a Librarian. But notice also that here's my contact information, and that also appears on the database pages from the website pages. But there's my contact information. So the difference between using those two is if you have a quick question, if there's something that I've said today, or you just need a little bit of help, you've tried your search and you have been working on it for about 20 minutes and it's just not working out, and we have evening and weekend hours at our research services desk or Ask a Librarian desk as well. So and there's many contact points, which we'll see in a minute. But if it's the evening and you really kind of want to get some help, or a weekend, then go ahead and reach out to our research services desk. But if you need more help, if it's just not working for you, and you just need somebody to talk with you, email me either a detailed topic description and specific questions that you have, or email me or call me and let's schedule an appointment and we'll talk by phone. Will just be the better way to do it. So if you click on the Ask a Librarian here, you'll see all the ways that you can reach out. So you can call us. We have a local and a toll-free number. You can email us in a form. Again, be specific about what you want. Or you can also contact your subject liaison. So if you click there, you can get to my contact information. Or you can chat with us from that page. Also, from various places, if you click on Citation Help, you can get to a whole research guide on the APA style. So this is the home page of the APA research guide. So remember, the database will produce an APA citation, but you have to be really careful about that. But when you're looking at the research guide, under Webster University Writing Center, you'll see the APA documentation from Webster Writing Center. And that is, if you click on that link, that will take you to a page that they have that will show you how to create a citation for the most commonly used resources or formats, so articles, books, etc., for writing research papers. So that's how you can get a kind of a tip sheet, an easy way to look at how your citations should look. You can, if you have a citation question, you can ask one of our librarians. They'd be happy to help you with that. If you have specifically you'd like to know how to cite something specific. Also here from the Webster Writing Center there is an online writing center, and you can schedule an appointment. And what they will do then is you can submit your paper. You need to give them enough time to look at it, but you can submit your paper to them, and they will go through, and they won't they won't proofread it, but they will look at it and they will tell you if you're making, if you're consistently making particular kinds of mistakes, or if they see some holes in your logic. They will be very happy to look at your paper and give you some, some high level, you need to look at these kinds of things, but they won't proof or edit your paper for you. And so, I'm sorry, I didn't leave you very much time to ask questions, and we are just over 1 hour. So are any questions that that anybody has come up with, or is that enough to get you started?
Okay, I've engaged the microphone, so you should hear the group. Are there any questions?
No, I was going to say it was 12 minutes for us to take it in use.
Yes.
I didn't hear the question. Can you repeat it?
No, she just made a comment.
Okay.
That I think the group enjoyed it. There's a lot of good information, especially regarding the the different databases.
Good. Great.
So
Alrighty. So we kind of have a rule here at the library, and we say if you've done your, if you've tried for 20 minutes, please contact us before you get really frustrated. So we'd be happy. We have the resources. We have the people here who'd be happy to work with you one-on-one on your topic. So please do reach out to us, and I wish you luck in this course, and hopefully I've shown you some things that would be good for this course, but also future courses, and I wish you good luck for the rest of the term.
Well, thank you, Mary Ann. I think that those are wise words, that you can take this information and apply it throughout the program.
Great. All right, I'm going to stop the recording, and
you'll send us the link and